money. And if that's what you have in mind, yeah, if that's what you're all about, good luck moving up, 'cause I'm moving out.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate on the Move. We are your hosts, Jenny Whitten and David Dabrowski, and our lender host, Jim Foster with American Mortgage Bank.
What's up?
We have a special guest host today we're excited about. His name is Kent Hathaway. Kent, how are you today?
We're doing okay. How are you?
I'm good.
It's a good start. It's a good start to a good Saturday.
How was everybody's week?
Lovely.
It was great. I didn't drink last night.
Hey, we're going to have a good show today.
We're going to kill it, people. Get ready.
Good
busy week, yeah.
Well, Kent, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, I'm nobody special. I'm a father of four and a struggling American, just like everybody else. But I am Becky's favorite son-in-law.
That's
that is
right.
Me. Yeah, it's a short competition is the only one, but
that's what I was going to say. That you're the only one.
Very familiar with being here.
Yeah, I've been here a few times. I'm usually the ignorant one that shows up with questions.
Well, we're happy to have you because you had a great idea, and the idea was let's go ahead and talk about how to prepare your kids for purchasing their first home.
Yeah. I always had guidance from movers, right? Like movers always just told me what to do. And I did it, and it always worked out. And about 6 months ago, I was talking to B, and I was like, Becky, what happens when I go to get my next house? What do I do? And she kind of like chuckles at me, right? Like I'm still a moron. And she says, and she's like, Ken, you do what you've always done. Call movers.
That's right.
That's what she said. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Well, now you guys are going to call us.
Yeah, well, of course.
So they're going to call us. We're all connected. Right. We love each other. I'm very blessed to know you guys, and I'm grateful that you're on the show today.
Well, thanks. So that was the question that I never got to ask. Was like, as my daughter approaches, she's almost 16, and which is practically almost 40 to her. You know, and not that I'm eager for her to leave, but how do I prepare one of my kids for potentially purchasing their first home? Like, I had no idea. Somebody always just told me what to do, but I don't know how to. Like, what questions do I ask her? What should I know as a parent that I can pass on to them?
Well, I think our first question is actually going to go to Jim. Jim, what would you say would give him a leg up?
Put him up for adoption. No, I'm just kidding. No. Well, the best thing to do for your children at first is get them signed on a credit card as an authorized user. I've done that for 2 of ours. So now they're already building credit. It's at 17 or almost 18 and 16. So,
really?
So by the time they hit 18, where they're old enough to sign a contract for cars or whatnot, they'll already have credit scores. So that's the first thing.
Do you tell them? Do you tell them that they're a user on the credit card?
Yeah, well, they don't have the credit card. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Let's be clear.
Although one of my daughters did steal the credit card one time. Long story, but we did catch it.
I totally did that in high school.
Oh, I know.
Totally. It's one of my dad's favorite stories.
Yeah, I can't blame him. I did the same stuff. So anyway, get them on a credit card. That will start building their credit. That's the first thing. So that way, when they come to that point, credit's not an issue.
Well, it's funny because I was actually talking about this the other day with my banker. I said, I feel like it's kind of fake credit at that point.
Well, what in the late 90s, what my parents did for me?
You mean last century?
Yeah.
They kicked him out is what they did for him.
We went to a bank. She actually took out a loan, said, you're not going to touch this. You're just going to pay it back. And I paid it, I think it was for 1 year, paid it all back.
See, yeah. Really? That gives them a little foundation too. Yeah. Because now with this click and swipe and this big thing that we're in, everything is right at your fingertips. It's so easy now to get stuff.
And fast. Man, it's fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fast. So they need to learn a little bit of self-control.
Yeah. So that's exactly my thoughts on it. I don't know what we're going to do for Miles and for Madeline. There's part of me that almost wants them just to kind of learn for themselves because I learned for myself. My mom and dad they helped us. Do not get me wrong. I mean, my mom and dad paid for our insurance. They paid for our college. I was very fortunate to have my parents. But they did not set me up with a credit card, so I did not have credit. And when I did go to buy my first house, I was not able to be on that loan. My husband, at the time I was married before, sorry guys, but he actually had to put the house in his name and it wasn't in my name at all because I had no credit. But at that moment, and I was a realtor, at that moment, that's where I said, everything needs to change. Everything needs to turn around and I need to start building credit. So now I'm anal about it.
Right, yeah.
But I think it gives you a responsibility if you come from nothing and then you realize how important it is.
True, yeah. It gives you a little bit of a little more confidence as well, too. And with respect, just real quick, you brought something up, and this kind of to the side, but no scores. There is an FHA no score out there for people that are listening, yeah. You could have no scores and get a house, but you need 3 trade lines. Like you need to have something for a year that you've been paying on, like car insurance, phone bill, medical bill, anything that you have for 12 months that we could put on your credit to build you 3 credit lines.
How about utilities? If you rent
I'm sorry, yeah, gas, water, and electric. Yeah, you sure can.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like a cell phone bill?
A cell phone, you can do cell phone as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You sure can, yeah. So anyway, so back to the kids and building, building for their future. Get them on a credit card if you can. Of course, no one can teach them morals or values. That's going to be the parents', position.
Right.
Of course, I grew up with nothing, but yeah. So I was out always mowing lawns and doing what I needed to do. But now they make it the way the system is set up. It's pretty easy to get things started for your children if you want to.
Is there any other way to get credit aside from like a credit card or this baseline thing that you just talked about?
Not really. If it's going to report to the 3 bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are the 3 bureaus that we have. Yeah. So you need a credit card. You need something you need some type of bank or car lot or something that reports to those agencies so they can start tracking your credit. So,
well, let me ask you this then. What's the fastest that you see that could help build your credit?
Credit cards. I know. It's a dirty word, isn't it?
It is. I feel like it's a trap.
I have a question. As you know, when you rent a house and if you don't pay and you get evicted, it can go against your credit score.
Oh, no, that's
Is
huge.
it possible
I didn't know
to
that.
gain credit?
Oh, yeah.
But can somebody report that you're paying your rent and gain credit that way?
You can report rent on your credit. You can report utilities. You can report credit. You can report rent. Yeah, you sure can.
Who reports that?
Yeah, do you know how to do that?
It's self-reporting. So the consumer would call in themselves and go, "Hey, I want to get these on my credit report," and then the credit agencies will verify with whomever it is, and then we'll get that on your credit.
Can my kid rent from me? So I can go home and be like,
that's a great
Hey,
idea.
daughter, buckle up.
Rent's due.
You remember that allowance you got last week? Well, we're flipping the script, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you
Now
that.
you gotta-
This is where you learn something new every day. Here I am, a property manager, and I had no idea that you could self-report credit.
You can. Yep.
What a fantastic thing for any listener out there that needs to build credit. Because if you've been renting, a lot of them have been renting on time for years and years and years.
And then they're not getting any credit.
And they're not getting anything
Zero.
for it.
Yeah.
Wow. So what type of loan then would you say would help our first time buyers? And obviously this is going to be a question that we're going to go into the next segment.
Okay.
So
Well, yeah. So just a short snapshot of it is what type of loan. Well, it depends on your client's needs, right? Are they liquid? Do they have a lot of assets, or are they first time home buyers that might need some assistance? So there's a couple of different types of loans that banks have. Every bank, mortgage lenders, we all have the same stuff. Just so everybody knows, all banks and lenders pretty much have the same options. It's just when they get to their specialized needs that the banks maybe have overlays and things like that. But we all get our money from the government, guys. Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. That's where everything comes from. So there are special loans, different loans for different types of people, because it's not a one fits all. Of course, you guys have been in real estate for a while. Same thing. You might need different ones for different people.
Well, let's go ahead and hold that thought. Guys, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will be discussing the rates for the week with Jim Foster.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back to Real Estate on the Move. I'm Jenny Whitten with Movers Real Estate.
Hey guys, we are wanting you to call in. Call in if you have any questions about our topic, preparing your kids and buying a home for the first time. Call in at 405-840-1000. We will be giving away a gift card to the first person that calls in. Okay, Jim.
Hello. Where were we? We were talking about how to get kids out of the house. This is Jim Foster. Just change the lock. NMLS 216-244.
Okay, Jim. Now.
We're back now. I don't know how this stuff works. Yeah.
Hey, we're live.
We were talking about how to get kids out of the house, right?
That's right.
How can we get their own home so then they can take care of us later on when we get old, like I am right now. So there's a bunch of different products out there for new buyers.
What loan would you?
Well, so okay, that's a good question. So which one, right? If we have somebody that's established, right, that's a first-time home buyer and they have good credit, some assets. Conventional might be the way to go because the mortgage insurance will drop off at a certain point, 78% typically on conventional. But if you're brand new, and I get a lot of brand new home buyers, and we have to walk them through the process, of course, be very patient, and down payment assistance products are always available.
I'm a huge fan of that if it's your first home. I really think you should take advantage of it if you can.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, our bank has three. So
really?
we have OFA,
okay,
which are Oklahoma Finance Authority, and then REI. I don't know what REI stands for. Forgive me, guys. And then we have a national DPA.
What's the difference?
So OFA and REI, for all the realtors that listen, probably familiar with this. REI and OFA have credit score limits. 640 is their credit score.
Okay.
And they also have income limits. So depending on, what their income limits are, I think it's $140,000 on conventional. I'm not sure what the FHA is, but there are limits. The national DPA, however, doesn't have credit score as long as you get approved eligible through DU or LP.
What's that?
So DU is desktop underwriter. It's what every bank in the United States uses to run their approvals. DU and LP is loan prospector. So if the national DPA, I've been a big fan of because there's no income limits and there's no credit score as long as you get approved eligible. So that's a go-to. So if somebody has a 600 credit score on the national DPA and they get approved through the system, we can get them done typically. So
and no income limits. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah. So but the way things are going right now, I think the FHA loan limit is going to be moved up coming in January to like 560. I'm going off memory here, but 560.
Well, that's great for those states that have higher.
Yeah. And at the same time, they always raise the income limits too. So
well, I think we have a caller that called in. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what's your question, Terry?
Well, when my daughter and son-in-law bought just recently their home, the most confusing thing for them was basically the closing costs and the down payment. And so I
think that's everyone's most confusing cost. It's what's the difference between closing costs and down payment? I think a lot of people have trouble with that.
Well, yeah, closing costs is an umbrella term.
Right.
Closing cost covers down payment and closing costs. However, you want to separate the two. The difference is your down payment, of course, is whatever your down payment is on the house. So if it's FHA, it's 3.5%. So you go buy a house, $200,000, 3.5% of that is $7,000. That would be your down payment. And FHA, that's what FHA requires, is a minimum of 3.5%. The other side of that coin is the closing costs. That comes in with your appraisal, your title work, all the fees that go along with it, your escrows, taxes, and insurance.
And I think people get really confused about the taxes and the insurance and their payment, and then they get a little sticker shock when they start to see all of those fees.
Yeah, especially nowadays since taxes are going up. It seems like property tax here in Oklahoma. And I think, Edwin, we talked about that last week.
Well, I feel like we beat a dead horse on that, but it is the number one thing that people actually talk about.
Yeah.
Why are my payments increasing? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
But Terry, you bring up such a good point of how confusing it is, because when we sit down with buyers and we have to do what's called a net sheet and they look at all of the fees, they're only thinking about the down payment. They don't see that you have all of these closing costs as well, which also include your inspections and your termite inspection. So it can be overwhelming when you see all of that. But thank you so much for calling in. You get a gift card. So we will tell you the specifics on that on the side, but we appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, tell us more. I'm more interested in the no income limits. I think we should elaborate a little bit on that, because the no income limit for me, if you actually, were an engineer, does that, play into it? Whereas they might get denied on the other because they make too much money coming out of the gate.
Correct. Yes. So the no income limit for this national DPA. So just like REI and OFA, whatever their income limits are, and it's also combined household as well. So if you have one or two people, they're going to combine the two incomes to see if you qualify for the down payment assistance. The down payment, this national DPA is an outlier. We love it. We just got it, I think, over the summer. And I've been telling everyone about it, especially for those that are a little more established, that maybe, it's like, guys, who in this room saves money, is able to save money, right?
Right.
No hands are going up, folks, just in case. Oh, wait a minute. Well, there's always one.
There's always one of those out there.
So my point is that it's hard to save money nowadays, right? So even for those that are making, 110, 120, 130,000, because, we always reach that level where we're spending what we bring in for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it does help for those that are making, pretty good money, but don't have any savings.
Sure.
And that's why we brought it on.
Well, let's talk about if a parent can pay for the down payment, will you qualify for those loans? If I, put a down payment towards my kid, what loan would you suggest at that point?
Right. So there, you can do a combination of a down payment assistance and a gift if you wanted to. So when you're saying you want to, help your children out, right? That's considered a gift.
Okay.
That would be, we would put that on the
gift.
What's that?
How much can you gift?
You can give as much as you want, actually. There's really no limit on the gift at all. But you do run into, if the parents give too much, then if the child or whoever they're helping out, nephew, whatever it is, once they get to the closing table, if that gift was so big that now they're getting money back on a purchase, a couple, $3,000, if there's money left over, what do you do with that money? Well, you can do a principal reduction on that. So if they're, if the purchase price was $200,000, they can just make it $197, bring that principal down, or you can buy the rate down with it too. So
I think the rate buying down right now is so important because a lot of people think that they're going to have it for so long and they get so stuck on the rate. Okay, so if the rates are a little bit higher now compared to what they were a few years ago, obviously. Interest rates. But people get so stuck on, oh my gosh, it's at 7%, or oh my goodness, it's 6.5%, not realizing that that's an actual decent rate. And they don't want to move. They don't want to buy a house at that point in time. They're like, I'll wait. Well, we've been waiting now for a couple of years, and they've missed out on 2 years worth of equity, and the prices of homes keep going up. So they've literally missed out. I mean, I would say on 7% to 10% equity on their houses. At least, yeah. And what is rent, guys? I know. That's 100% rent is there too. I know. So that's a good point. Yeah. I don't know. The what about investment properties? I'm going to bring that investment into this. This is what I love and what I do. I possibly would consider helping my kiddo buy a house during college and then use that as an investment property. What are your thoughts on that? How are you approaching it? So you're gonna buy it just for your investment and let your child live in it, right? Yes, because I am interested in possibly renting out another room or 2 rooms to their buddies. Now, all of a sudden, you have a house that's working for you that you're not paying on. You have a house full of college kids. You have a house full of college kids. And then that's right. Report back to you to increase their credit score, right? There you go. Yeah. Well, hey. Right after the cake party. When they graduate, somebody's got to sell them a house, right? Depends the condition of the house when they move out. Right. Oh, it'll be fine. Well, investment, there's a lot of things for investors, but the thing with investors, as you know, Jenny and guys, 20% down, end of story. There's no way around the 20% down mark for investors. But with that, you've got DSCR loans, which is investor loans. There's the product, the DSCR, one of the easiest loans to do. If you're an investor, and you guys probably know about it. If you don't, let me tell you.
There is a DSCR, and what that means is if you want to purchase a house, we don't look at income at all. All we do is look at the investor's rental properties. You can, and that's how we qualify the buyer.
Well, that's what David and I do.
Yeah. But you got to have good credit scores on that one.
Yes.
Is there a cap to credit scores? Like how high does it go?
Yeah, 850 is 850. Yeah.
Does it slow down the higher it gets? So is it easy to get credit when you're in the hundreds and then it slows down?
Yeah, their algorithms exactly right. You can shoot to 620 pretty fast, and then
I was at 710 for years.
See, yeah,
years,
and then of course they trickle it out. They make you want.
Is there a way to compound it out a little faster? Just squeeze it out a little faster?
Yes, but then again, you're looking at a 2-year window ish. So say you got 3 credit cards. You just got them all now. So once they start reporting to the credit agency, they look at they do whatever their algorithms are. It's like, hey, this is a new consumer. He has 3 credit cards. He just started, but we can't really generate a score because we don't see any record of him doing anything. So they have to wait till you get a little bit further down the road to see if you do pay your bills, right?
Right.
So the more trade lines you have, the more trade lines you have, that's the opportunity to increase your credit scores a little faster.
What if you have had what if you've had one credit card for 10 years and then you get another one so that you can try to help out a little faster? Will the new one look at your history of paying on the one that you've had for 10 years?
So to get the credit card, they're going to look at your history. So you have the credit card, but it's brand new. That is going to register with the credit bureaus as a new trade line. That could be detrimental. Don't know. I mean, because it's a moving target, kind of like interest rates. You really don't know what that open trade line is going to do. Mm-hmm. But if you already have established good credit and you open up another one, it shouldn't have any really adverse effect on your credit scores, but it may not help at least for a year.
But hold that thought. We're going to be talking about everything when we come back with Real Estate on the Move. And welcome back to Real Estate on the Move. I'm Jenny Whitten. Today we were talking about preparing your kids to purchase their first home. And I still wanted to talk a little bit about it. We left and before we went to break, we were talking about possibly purchasing a home while your kid was in college, doing some wealth building. And I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that because I think we always have this misconception that you just go ahead and sell that and then you can take the proceeds to buy another house. But Jim, let's also talk about maybe pulling equity out of that home and using that as a down payment and purchasing another home. That is where you really start to build your wealth.
Yeah, make your money work for you. Oldest adage.
Not against you.
Not against you. That's right. Investment properties, you put 20% down already, right? So say you've been in a couple, 3 years. Now you're making extra payments, whatever it is. You can do cash out refis on investment properties all day long. I think it's 75% of 75% of whatever the appraised value is. And you can pull it out. And I got a client right now that's doing the same thing, doing that exact same thing. And
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. He's pulling out $40,000, I guess, and he's going to buy another house.
$40,000 out of what? Sorry,
out of investment property. Yeah, so he's got an investment property, and I'm doing a cash out refi, and he's got enough equity. He's going to pull that money out. And
out
just
of what?
Out of the
house.
The equity of the rental house.
Say that we end up helping Miles buy his first house. Well, because I'm involved, I'm going to put down that 20% down payment. Okay. So Miles, right out of the bank, whenever he's going to college, is his freshman year, he's already got 20% down equity or down payment equity in that property because I was involved for purchasing that house. Okay. Now, 4 years later, and the market's gone up, he has even more equity. So instead of just dumping that house and then taking that money and putting it down as another down payment, you can pull equity out of that house, use it as your down payment. Now he's got a rental property.
What happens to the value of the first house? What happens to that? So you borrow against your house?
So you borrow against it. Mm-hmm. Oh. So you can either do a home equity line of credit or you can refinance it at that point if the interest rates are good. Pull, enough for your down payment. Say he only needs 3.5%. We know he's easily going to get that 3.5%. He already had 20% equity because I helped him when he purchased the home. Sure. And now he takes that money and he goes and buys his house that he's going to live in. That's going to be his upgraded home. But he uses the college house as a rental property and continues renting it out. Because keep in mind, the lender, the bank, they're not going to set you up to fail, which is why they don't allow you to take out 100% of the value, only 75%. So you should absolutely still make money off of your rent, your rental property.
Okay.
So now you have a little business on the side.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and I love it. That's where I geek out. That's what I love doing. So obviously,
don't I miss 2006 and 5 100%, baby.
Oh yeah, I know. So obviously, we would love to help you. And if you want help or you want to talk more about purchasing that home for your child, please call Movers Real Estate at 405-722-3232 or go online at moversre.com. Kent, before we leave this section, tell us about your first property.
I was in Yukon, and we bought it when Emily, my wife, was in grad school, and I was just working, right? And movers called and said, hey, you need to buy this house. And I was like, I didn't know I was looking for a house. Yeah, and I was like, okay, so I didn't even see it, actually. And Emily said, Kent, we should do it. And I was just like, okay. I had never even seen it, and we put an offer in. It sold that day. So I actually purchased the home without even seeing it.
Because your wife told you to.
No, because movers told me to.
Well, movers told you to, which would have been Becky.
Hey, there was a question. There was a question that I didn't know to ask, and I was like, hey, I don't know what I should do. And Becky said, Ken, I'll tell you the question that you should always ask your realtor is, say, would you sell this house to your kid?
That's right.
And so I said, oh. And she like just kind of sat there and stared at me, and I was like, oh, like right now? And she just kind of nods. And I was like, oh, okay, B, would you sell this house to your daughter, also my wife? Because your place is big enough. If this falls through, we're going to need a place to stay.
That's true. Even yesterday, I was on the phone. Somebody called in yesterday, and they were looking for a realtor that did property management and was a realtor that currently sold, so they would understand the market. And that was the question that she asked me. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to sell you anything that I can't rent. Why would I make a couple $1,000s off you buying one house when you're telling me that you want to buy multiple properties and you need a property manager because you live in another state? I am not going to lie to you. I am going to do right by you because I'm going to help you grow. So I love that. I love that Becky did that. Okay, we are going to talk about our hot listing now.
You should see it in the bikini.
David Dabrowski.
All right, so tomorrow you need to go see Andrew Thomas at an open house from 2 to 4. The address is 2800 Derlin Drive in Edmond. It's
what neighborhood is it in?
Homestead, yeah.
That's actually a really nice neighborhood, and I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's got this lovely little pond right off to the side when you pull into the neighborhood, and they are not cookie cutter. Every single home looks the same. They actually do look unique, and it's a lovely neighborhood. I actually have always had it in my mind.
It's 2,100 square foot. $347.
That's actually a really good price.
So tomorrow, go see Andrew at his open house. He would love it.
What time?
Tell him we sent you 2 to 4.
And what was the address one more time so our listeners know?
2800 Derland Drive.
All righty. Okay, well, we're going to talk a little bit about the OKC market. I thought it would be fun to know our stats from the Oklahoma City MLS. This week, we had 610 new listings on the market. We had a price decrease of 733 homes in the last 7 days. That tells me, guys, you really need to listen to what your realtor is saying, and we need to go in and price our homes at a realistic sales price. If you are $10,000, if you are $5,000 too high, you are too high, and you will hit that price decrease. Then we need to go ahead and talk about our pending sales, which were 420 homes. So we did a good job, and we sold 408 homes last week. Good. So we have a story time. Usually I'm going to tell a funny story, but I'm not going to tell a funny story today. Instead, I am actually going to talk about those college kids that we were kind of cracking jokes on. I want you to know from a property management point of view, we like renting to the college kids. Let me tell you why we like renting to the college kids. Because we know what we need to do before they even sign a lease when they move out. 99.9% of the time, those college kids will just leave me a dirty house to clean and some yard cleanup, and that's it. And I can cover all of that within their deposit. Believe it or not, we haven't seen a lot of damage from the college kids. I actually think that's impressive. Not that it will never happen, but...
What is wrong with these kids nowadays? What is going on?
What are they doing wrong?
Where are all the parties?
Yeah.
I know.
I thought you were going to say it's like you just got to go in there and get all these red cups off the ground everywhere and some empty kegs.
I did have a plumbing call. They're like, my garbage disposal won't work, and I tried to reset it. The plumber gets out there. Do you know what they were trying to throw down the garbage disposal?
like a chunk of wood or something.
Bottle caps. Beer bottle caps. I'm like, oh, great.
So there is hope for these kids. Okay.
There is hope. They still party.
All right.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are going to have another special guest speaker. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jenny Whitten, and we are Real Estate on the Move. Well, I told you we were going to have another special guest speaker. Today, we have Susan Hartman. Susan Hartman is with Bethany Children's Health Center. Hi, Sue.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, why don't you tell us a little about who you are and who you work for?
Well, I work for Bethany Children's Health Center. We're a private, nonprofit hospital. We offer inpatient and outpatient services for children, and we're the only pediatric rehabilitative hospital in the state.
Really?
Yes. Isn't that remarkable?
So I told a little bit about your hospital last week. I did a little plug for you guys because I do know you. For you listeners out there, you don't know this, but this is my very bestest cousin, and I love her so dearly. But she is one of the kindest humans that I know. And I really, truly believe in the work that she does. And I really thought it would just be better if you actually came on and told us a little bit about your hospital. Tell us about the history.
So we were founded by Maddie Mallory in 1898. So we're 126 years old, 1 year older than the state of Oklahoma. And she is a teacher, or was a teacher in Ardmore. She was on her way to Canada, and she was going to be a superintendent of a school. She got off the train in Oklahoma City, and she saw that there were orphans in the street. And God just put it on her heart that she was to start an orphanage. And she was obedient with 5 cents in her pocket. She founded the orphanage and took care of the kids. And over the years, we've grown and evolved into the amazing hospital that we are today. But it all started back then with her just obedience to God.
Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing how if you listen to what he tells you to do, where he will take you.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us about what makes your hospital so special. What is it that you guys do for these kiddos?
So we're committed to maximizing the potential of every child in our care in a compassionate, faith-centered environment. We really believe that every child is a gift from God and deserves the highest quality of care to reach their fullest potential. We provide care from kids all over the state of Oklahoma and surrounding states, and we're nationally recognized for our pediatric rehabilitation and complex care services. We also have an amazing outpatient clinic that provides general pediatric care as well as highly specialized, focused care for kids with complex medical needs.
So you may have the kiddos that are looking at long-term rehabilitation then.
Are these kids that have been in car wrecks, or just
Absolutely.
everything? Or
They
just kind
are.
of the gamut?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the kids that we have are recovering from accidents, and they've sustained some life-altering injuries, some with spinal cord injuries or traumatic brain injuries. We care for kids with a wide array of different conditions, some congenital disabilities. Our goal in their care is to get them better so that they can return home and live with mom and dad. And it's just a really special place where these kiddos get just some really spectacular care.
Well, and aren't they going to have is it a new building? What is it that they're building now? Tell me about that. You said there was a new wing or something.
Yes, absolutely. It's our pediatric Center for Excellence. I think I got that right. We are in the process of construction. We're on 39th Expressway. So if you're in the area, you'll definitely notice there's a lot going on. We're building a whole new facility because we've outgrown the space that we're in for our outpatient clinic. And we have huge wait lists, and we just want to provide the care that we need in the community for the kids.
What was the name you told me? There was a name that they were going to call it. Was it I don't know. I want to say Kids Corner, but that's not it. Tell them about the people that are actually building the building that came in and gave you ideas.
We Reese Construction and then Storyland.
Storyland.
Yes. Our architects are from Storyland, and they are, some of them are former Disney Imagineers, and just really creative people have been involved in putting together this awesome new building. It's going to be really spectacular.
At 39th and...
39th and... Beaver, it's like right near 39th and
Council.
Hello, Council.
Council. Okay.
I know where I work.
You know where you work. Well, tell us a little bit about your joy of Christmas and why I pulled you on, because I want the viewers to understand what they can do to help, because you guys do a Make-A-Wish for the kiddos at times, and you've got this Joy of Christmas going on. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, thanks so much. Yes, we just launched our Joy of Christmas campaign. And because we are a nonprofit hospital, we really rely heavily on the donations that we receive from the community during the Christmas season. So, Christmas is a super joyful time at the hospital. You wouldn't really think that. You would think that it wouldn't be so great, but we really just pour so much into creating a fun environment for the kids. They all get to create their own wish lists with their teachers. And Santa and Mrs. Claus come and provide them with all the gifts from their wish lists. If you go to our website, BethanyChildren's.org, you'll be able to look at all of the different ways that you can give. We have several lists. There's therapy and education, adaptive recreation and fine arts, and then our basic needs. So there's tons of different ways that you can support us, and we have all kinds of fun items that our therapy and education team has put together. There are games, toys, sports equipment, art supplies, and there are things as little as $4, but
so anybody can get involved.
Absolutely.
A lot of love.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that my favorite story, of course, Susan, I'm going to brag on you a little bit about, but it's not you. It's God really does move in this hospital, because she's told me stories on how, they've talked about, we're running out of blankets for the babies. And then they'll get a call 30 minutes later from someone that'll say, hey, we have all these blankets that we would like to donate to the hospital. She is constantly telling me these coincidences that are happening in this hospital to provide for these kiddos. Now, of course, Susan, you and I know that it's not a coincidence. It's God.
Not at all.
But I love these stories. And they're always doing stuff fun to help get people involved. So I really appreciate everything that you guys do.
Oh, thanks so much. And I would say what really makes us stand out is the love that we give to our patients while they're under our care. We're part of the Bethany Public School System. So our kiddos, they have full days. They go to school year round. And we always have fun activities going on for them. So like a day in the life of a kid at the hospital, they would wake up, put on a cute little outfit, go to therapy.
Well, and let me ask you this. How long are some of these kids staying in the hospital? Because you're bringing up school.
Oh, well, it just depends on why they're there. We have some kids who come in and they'll do 3 hours of intensive therapy in a day, and they'll be on a faster path to recovery and getting back home. Some of our kids are in our complex care unit, and those are more fragile kiddos, and they can be with us for 2 years and even beyond that.
Well, how long have you been there?
I've been there. This is now my third Christmas, so it's a lot of fun, and I really love it. And I feel like God put me there. I really do feel like it's a
He
calling.
absolutely did.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Susan's a mover and a shaker, and they needed her.
How long have you two been cousins?
We don't like to say.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Okay, well, Susan, thank you so much for being with us today. Guys, once again, their website is BethanyChildren's.org. Bethany Children's Health Center is the name of the foundation. It is a wonderful thing to get involved in. I have donated 2 years in a row now just because I love listening to all of her stories. We're going to go ahead and do Dee's Corner now. Dee's Corner is for all you chefs out there. We have a recipe that's just a fun little appetizer, and my mother-in-law said that we need to go ahead and upload this one. So was it good? Was it bad? It's good. It's just a cheese dip, but it's fantastic.
Pineapple cheese dip.
Well, and David, you tell him,
Delicious.
do you like it? He loves
it's
it.
delicious. Yeah.
He's going, this one we can put on the air.
Cream cheese goes straight to the...
I know. Anything fun this weekend, guys, that you're going to do?
I won't be drinking.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Well, you can tonight now.
Yeah, right. Tonight, I guess I'm good. Yeah,
Well-
we like hit some local spots, but yeah.
Well, we got a birthday party to go to, and we may hit up some Christmas lights after that. But guys, thank you so much for being with us this Saturday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And Jim Ivan, sing us out.
In the week, be a good day. May the Lord always watch over you.
KTOK, Oklahoma City. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
Radio.